Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee, the radio show where we talk about it all. Hey, welcome to Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee. With me are my co-hosts, Kevin Eaton.
Hello, everybody.
We have Lady T.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Wonderful?
Yes, wonderful.
You had to break it down like that?
Yeah.
Well, Kevin always breaks it down. Don't you know that?
Full of wonder.
You're always full of wonder.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for tuning in to our show. Of course, we air every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m.
And love every minute of it.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Yes. So let's jump right into the show.
All right.
Today's topics are going to be varied. We're going to start off the way we always start off, and that is talking a little bit about what we discussed last week. And you may be wondering, what did they discuss last week? Transgender birth certificates. Okay. Some individuals who are getting sex changes are now going back and having their birth certificates reissued to pretty much reflect what they are, what sex they are today. Okay. So we're going to go into that. And also we're going to break down the lyrics to Beyonce's Formation. Ooh. And it's causing quite a stir.
I think SNL did the funniest skit about, I think they called it like the day that Beyonce turned black. Mm-hmm. And it was hilarious in that it just made fun of how people reacted. It's almost as if they didn't recognize her race. But I know I'm jumping ahead, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, because you know what? Tiara is a Beyonce fan. So, oh my goodness, I made the mistake of using the name to Beyonce. We're going to talk about that. And also how African Americans now are using public events such as the Super Bowl and the Grammys to actually talk about Black Lives Matter. And we are expecting a telephone call from a very, very, very special guest. So we have a lot going on today, a lot on the agenda, a lot that we want to talk about. And if at any point you'd like to join in on the conversation, please give us a call locally. We're 410-481-1010 or toll free 1-877-704-1010. Let's bring Jimmy in. Hi, Jimmy.
Good morning, everyone. How everybody's doing?
Hey, Jimmy.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. So we're going to start off with the topic that had you a little hot under the collar last week.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy was a little hot under the collar. So we're going to start off talking about that a little bit, and that is transgender birth certificates. Jimmy, I'll let you start off.
I believe that if someone is willing to go as far as to have a sex change operation, they also should be allowed to change their birth certificate if that's the particular sex they identify themselves with.
Okay. Kevin.
Well, Jimmy, I think if somebody had their sex change or something like that, then I think maybe they might want to seek counseling or something like that. First before they make a major step like that in their life.
But I think that they do. I think that it's all these steps that they have to go through before they have that type of surgery.
That's part of it.
And I think that part of the counseling would have to be part of the acceptance that you were born a certain gender. And when you were born that certain gender, that's the gender that you were born. And when a birth certificate is what certifies your birth, that certifies when you were born a male or female. And I just believe that, whether you change your sex or not, you still can't change how you was born.
But Kevin, you get me how you are a proponent and you speaking out now about the importance of therapy, but you're against premarital counseling. That just blows my mind. I'm sorry.
That is because sometimes we're on the air live, right? And sometimes we try to think about what we have to say, but sometimes we might think about something, but we might not say the exact words that's in our mind. So in that situation, I think maybe I was thinking something differently and saying something mildly, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, I don't understand a person in the first place that would have a sex change in the first place. To me, I don't understand that. That's just out of my comprehension of understandability. And then to go as far as try to go way back to the past to your birth certificate and try to make it look like you was born something other than what you was born. I mean, that just blows my mind, cuz.
So you think that that's more serious, though? You think that that's more serious than the importance of having premarital counseling? Are you comparing the two?
No. Like I said, when I was talking about the counseling thing, that was like a butter. I was like buttering over the bread. I didn't want to say what I was really thinking.
So what you're saying is that counseling only seats when you wanted to see.
No. What I was saying, I was using the counseling as opposed to using something else.
As
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I got to figure something else to think about to say it over the airways without incriminating myself and disturbing other people's airways, because that's a sensitive subject. You see how Jimmy is, you know what I'm saying? Jimmy's upset. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't know that, but I think Jimmy be ready to go out and get his sex changed and get his birth certificate changed tomorrow. I don't know. I don't want to defend nobody.
We all know better than that.
But he will feel better if he has the right to do so. You know what I'm saying?
But
Absolutely.
He does. According to the law, he does have that right to do so.
But personally, I think it's deceitful. I just think it's very, very deceitful.
People lie about stuff all the time.
That's the problem, boo. People lie about stuff all the time. We gotta draw a line in the sand somewhere. We're gonna say, you know what? We're not going to take these lies no more, especially about this situation right here when you was born one way and we want to know how you was born. And we just want to know the truth. You got to draw.
That's not fair. You can't pick and choose where you going to draw the line in the sand at.
We got to draw it somewhere, boo.
Well,
we can't keep going off of lies. You already look like a woman, but you was born a boy. I mean, and let's
okay. Yes, Jimmy.
There was a program on I think it was on the Health Channel, where they actually showed when people was actually considering getting a sex change operation. It's not something you can just walk into the doctor's office and say, I want this done. They go through extensive therapy before they can actually make the change. So after going through the therapy, the doctor themselves, and also with like biological testing and everything else, then they determine whether this person is a candidate for a sex change operation. That's what I'm saying. If a person is going through that much, you might as well change their birth certificate. I mean, all the health professionals saying they are what they are.
Yeah, like I say.
I think what you don't understand is
You're right. I don't understand. I said in the beginning, I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. And then, because we always have a great show, right? We've never had a show that was terrible, right? But this subject been haunting me this whole week, right? This has been in my head the whole week. I'm like,
we didn't mean to haunt you, Kevin.
Wow, this is really something. They're talking about changing the birth certificate.
It's a deep topic.
I mean, come on.
But Jimmy, what did you start to say?
I said one thing. I understand what Kevin is saying. You're looking through the eyes of a man. That's totally a heterosexual man, like myself. And so it's kind of hard. Even the thought of a man touching me just creeps me out. But the thing is, you have to get outside yourself and look at this as an individual with some sort of a disability that they're trying to correct.
A disability that they're trying to correct.
A disability, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
We
Kevin.
said that last week, Kevin.
Okay. So okay.
But he still doesn't accept it. To him, he still can't wrap his mind around. And I think what he can't wrap his mind around is a birth certificate indicates what and who you were at the time of birth. How are you going to turn around and change something that
it's almost like somebody lying about their age or saying that, okay, well, now that I got this facelift and I look like I'm 25, let me go back and change my birth certificate to reflect that I'm 25. Is that where we're
absolutely? That's deception, and those are lies.
But you guys say is you labeled it as a disability, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm not saying
for the lack of a better term.
Right.
It's not that everybody that is lesbian, gay, trans, it's not that they all have this, I guess, quote unquote disability, but there are people that are born that feel like they were born into the wrong body. I don't identify with that, but I know that I've seen shows where these are things people say, and you can't tell somebody what they feel and what they don't feel.
So you would consider it a disability when they are like that?
Okay, Kevin, you stuck on disability.
Yeah, because y'all proving my point. Y'all proving my point. Y'all say disability. I said counseling. I think we're saying the same thing, but saying it nicely, the best way we can.
But counseling is a part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
When they decide to make the sex change, counseling is a part of it. That's what Jimmy shared with us. So,
and what I'm saying is that part of that counseling should be, look, you got to understand that you was born this way. So you got to accept the fact, boo, that you was born a male. So you just got to accept the fact that on your birth certificate, it's going to reflect what you were born. That should be part of the therapy. Instead of saying, okay, it's okay, go ahead, get your birth certificate changed.
Okay,
you can change the color of your car. You can change the drawers you wear. You can change all that stuff. But you cannot change how you were born.
Okay,
you just can't change that.
Let's bring Charles in. Hi, Charles. Welcome to Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to show you that I'm a mixologist, so I think that they should come up with an SNL show where they have Wendy Williams was a boy. but the deal with the sex change situation and the birth certificate is easily solved if you just have the birth certificate a different color to signify that it was changed. Then I don't think it will really matter. You see where I'm going with this?
I hear you, Charles.
Because all birth certificates are one color, right?
Right.
So you just have it a separate color to show that it was changed.
Well, what happens if somebody accidentally get theirs printed on the wrong color?
Well, then you got to get it changed back if somebody steal your identity.
Okay, well, Charles, that's an interesting solution. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know about bad or good, but it's interesting.
That would be a step in the right direction, I think.
A step in the right direction, having like pink and blue.
Or it ain't got to be pink and blue. It could be just... Go ahead.
The problem with that is you're going to expose somebody look at your birth certificate, that you're going to expose them to some sort of discrimination.
Well, instead of getting a scarlet letter, wouldn't you rather have a different color birth certificate?
I don't think it's necessary to even, the person just needs to identify who they see themselves as. Because, a lot of times your employer will ask for your birth certificate. And you get a birth certificate, I was once a guy.
This is America. You don't have a choice. You have to identify yourself.
True. You have to identify yourself. Yes, that's true. As far as male and female. Yeah, right. But I don't. Go ahead, Charles.
Birth certificate is not disparaging. It's just a piece of paper. It's a
legal document.
Right. It just signifies a change. That's all.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your call, Charles. Have a great day.
Peace.
Charles is saying we should add color. Pink and blue.
Colors, so you know if it's
when
changed.
But what's the point?
Then you would know. Then you would know that this birth certificate is different from the origin. You might not know what has changed on it, but you know something is not original. At least you would know.
But that's the only thing that would change, because then you would have to say, okay, so
no, people change their names, don't they?
Okay, people change their names.
But I don't know if it's on the birth certificate.
Not on the birth certificate, but like what Jimmy mentioned last week, though, when a child is adopted.
Right, that's what I was about to say.
Yes, when a child is adopted, those documents will change. Jimmy, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I say, in that particular case, just say if the father adopted a child, a mother's child, there is nothing that identifies that that's not the biological father. It just identifies that person as being the father, even have that particular father's age when the child was born. So if that child had that particular document in their hand, there is nothing saying that that's not their biological father.
Right.
Or identify that a change had been made.
So in a case like that, are you agreeing with Charles that it should be a different color to indicate that the child has been adopted and then the parents' names have changed? I don't agree. I just don't know.
I don't even see where that's even necessary.
I don't see where it's necessary either, and I don't see where that's resolving an issue.
Well, how about if I have a job, an industrial job, that I know it's going to take a man to do this job. I could have an oil refinery or something. I know it's going to take the strength of men to do this job. And then I have these applicants coming here, and I'm asking for birth certificates, and they've got changes on them, and they come to me with this birth certificate. I'm thinking I'm hiring a male, and I hire these
Have you seen these bodybuilders? Have you seen Chaz Bono? Have you seen some of these women out here that can probably bench press
but women
more
like
than
that,
a man?
Women like that are probably set in their lifestyle where they're not going to be on my oil rig doing what I need done on my oil rig.
How you figure that?
Because they're spending their time bodybuilding and doing what they're doing.
Kevin,
it's like there's weak men
the people
out
that you're talking
there,
about, the people that's on television and stuff like that. But your average woman is not going to be as strong as your average man.
But that's not like they are getting hormones injected into them. Like they are making all the steps.
But that doesn't make him a man, though. Boy,
okay, the same way that you can have a man out here that is born a man and he's weak as a toothpick.
But I'm still.
That's true. That's
true. But I'm still.
And you're being prejudiced too. You're judging a person.
Though, at least I know when I hired that weak man, he was a man when I hired him. He was a boy.
But he's still weak and he still can't perform the job.
It doesn't matter.
But I haven't been deceived, though. You know what I'm saying? I took that chance on that man. You know what I'm saying? When the women come in and they got a birth certificate that say he was born a boy, and they come in a boy and they not telling me they was a woman, I'm being totally deceived.
So you feel that people shouldn't be hired based on their ability? That they should be. It should be based on your ability. I mean, that's the same thing as how other people may judge African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think
same type of prejudice. It's like, okay, this person's an African American. This person will not be able to perform the functions that we have in mind here.
I just think
you're doing the same thing.
Personally, I just think that there are jobs that women really shouldn't be doing. You know, it should be men doing these jobs. And even though we have accepted women in these positions now, you know, I just feel like for instance, now we are allowed to send our women on the front line, you know, in war and soldiers and stuff like that. And I don't think that women should be on the front line. I think that should be a man's thing. I think men should be out there on the battlefield. And I think women should be doing something else, you know. That's how I feel. They can be in the army helping out with the war, but I don't think we should put our women on the front line. I think as men, we should respect our women more than make them out there and put them out there as targets for our enemies. That's just me.
Okay. Jimmy.
No, Kevin, I've seen some military females that can perform their duties as well as any man. One thing you got to take in consideration, a woman is not going to go after a job that she doesn't truly believe that she physically cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing, though, Jimmy, if she's out there doing things, then what's happening with the children? If the man is out there fighting and the woman's out there on the front line fighting, how are we gonna have a family? Where's the family coming in at?
Maybe they
where are the children?
Kids. Maybe it's grandparents raising them the same way as if it's a crack mother or a crack father or somebody that's strung out or a parent dies. Like there's family. There's always family. It's like I feel like, and this is coming from me as a working mother, I go to school, I just feel like if you are blessed enough to have family and a support system, that you should be allowed to have a family. You should be allowed to have children and do all the things and pursue all your dreams that your male counterparts would pursue. A lot of times you see that men are allowed to pursue dreams and do things. You never know. A lot of times, unless they show you a picture or they tell you, you never know when a man has a kid.
That is so true.
Whereas women, it's like we have to wear it on our sleeve. The first time the child gets sick, if the child has a 2-hour delay at school, out of school that day, it's like everything shuts down for a woman and we have to readjust everything around us. Whereas men, it's kind of like you just look and kind of figure, oh, well, you know, she'll figure it out. That's not to say that there's not supportive husbands and fathers and boyfriends and whatever role that man may play in the life of the child. That's not to say that they're not there and they're not supportive. But what I'm saying is that it's a little harder for women to be everything to everybody. And so now that's not fair to say, oh, well, it's not okay for you to be everything to everybody because your role is in the house. Your role is with the children.
Kevin still feels the way Kevin feels.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, do you have any closing remarks before we go on to the next topic?
Yeah, the Kevin just really need to take in consideration is that nowadays women need to pursue the careers that they choose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's a police officer or a soldier. Like I just said, I've seen, you know, some of the military people that we have. A lot of them can truly outperform the female. I mean, I'm sorry, outperform the male.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Know, you have women now that are commanding military ships.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've always said before: women are definitely a lot stronger thinkers.
definitely a lot stronger thinkers.
Okay.
Thank you,
We
Jimmy.
can control situations so much better. And that's why a lot of times, I think men should celebrate women more than they do our strengths, really. Because we can hold it down and make it seem like it didn't even phase us, make it look like it's easy and it not be that easy.
We want to.
You want to?
We want to celebrate
well,
you
then
women
you
so
should
badly.
do it.
We
you
truly
should
do.
It.
There's nothing more than we would want to do more than to celebrate y'all, put you on the highest pedestal that has ever been made on earth.
Just a pedestal in the kitchen.
However you want to put it, we want to just make y'all that. But sometimes it just don't seem like it works out like that. We just got to deal with life the way it is. But believe me.
But you control your life. You control your actions.
But we can't control y'all women's.
You shouldn't expect
That's where you messed up at.
You shouldn't expect to control any individual. See, that's the problem. That's the problem right there. Why would you want to control another individual? And that's the same thing I feel about in terms of the transgender birth certificates and people, because I've spoken out about this so many other times. My thing is live and let live. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to me if a person started out a male and ends up being a female. How is that affecting my life? How is that hurting me? How's that keeping me from pursuing my dreams? Only person that stops or slows me down is me. So I'm all about live and let live. As long as people are happy, they aren't causing harm to other individuals, why not? Okay? Y'all, let's move on. I guess most of you saw the Super Bowl 50. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, but it was a great game. And a lot of stir has been caused by the halftime show.
Well, it was actually the video that came out the night before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My girl
Beyonce's Formation. I mean, within 48 hours, she dropped a single, a video, and appeared on Super Bowl 50. Now, that's a superwoman for you.
And released her world tour.
Yes, announced her world tour. Mm-hmm. That's right. So only a strong, independent woman could do that.
Do you think her role is in the kitchen?
So anyway, the lyrics to her song Formation have caused quite a stir and a divide in some communities.
Mm-hmm. And the video, too.
And the video as well, because it depicts Hurricane Katrina, and there's mention that, her background dancers were looking like Black Panthers, and so it's causing a divide. So I'd like to get your opinion on Beyonce's Formation. So if you like to, you can give us a call, 410-481-1010 or 1-877-704-1010. Jimmy.
Okay. Now, it's funny. I did some research on this whole, watch the video and look at the halftime show and everything else. And I'm trying to figure out where the problem is. Because if you listen to the lyrics of the song, nothing in the song says anything about, being against the police, fighting the police. They're judging everything in the lyrics of the song based on the video.
Right.
And then if you look at the video, it's only the first part of the video. The first 2 minutes of the video where you see the police car and you see the Hurricane Katrina. And I'm just trying to figure out where's the problem. I mean, people need to speak out on what's going on to our within our Black culture. That Black lives doesn't matter. So she took the opportunity. Yeah, the first 2 minutes of the video. Now, as far as the halftime show, I mean, they dressed in black leather. First thing came to my mind when I saw it, she looked like Michael Jackson.
Yes.
So when I heard what was going on, I was actually really shocked. And it felt as though what they were trying to do to her, like boycotting her shows and all of that, is unfair.
Absolutely, because I think the Miami police are talking about, the Fraternity Order of Police are talking about boycotting her concert that she has coming there. Mm-hmm. So it's actually it's definitely causing a stir within certain communities, and I feel like it's about time we started standing up and speaking out. We've been quiet way, way too long. Tiara,
Well, I think that the biggest thing is that it's not so much that we've been quiet, it's that she has been quiet. Because in her husband's lyrics, he's talked about, outside of what was brought up earlier, is that, he used to sell drugs. But, in the hip hop community, they talk a lot about police brutality, injustices to African Americans. Even Hurricane Katrina has been talked about in a lot of hip hop. Beyonce has never touched that. Like, usually, even when that big thing went out with her sister and her husband in the elevator, that was a song that was catchy tune. Oh, she addressed it. Like, she's never spoke out about it. Now, that's not to say that she hasn't been involved, because she's given a lot of money to Black Lives Matter.
Yes,
I found out that she built a complex in Texas for women. So it's not that she hasn't been involved. It's just that she hasn't been a poster child for it. She hasn't been in the streets walking, and doesn't mean that she never cared about Black lives. But I think just bringing it to the forefront, because she has such a diverse amount of fans. And they come across different genders, different races. And this was a Black song. This celebrated her Black culture. This talked about Black issues. And to a lot of people, that was just too much.
That was shocking, because they didn't look at her as an African-American woman.
No.
She was looked at, definitely, she is an icon. She stands out. She crosses so many lines.
It's
so many people from so many cultures and backgrounds love Beyonce.
It's kind of like, the fair skin, the blonde hair. And it's just, it's funny because, like I said, our special guest that's coming on has similar features and talked about being, what does she identify with? And she identifies with being African American.
Absolutely.
And that's the crazy part, is that it's never that Beyonce has come out and said, oh, well, I like Raven Simone, I'm an American. I'm not African American. I'm American. She's always identified with being African American. It's just that she doesn't twerk in all her songs, and she has like a little bit of booty popping here and there, but they've been to like pop kind of. It appeals to more. It's not like your usual. She's not like your Erykah Badu, your Jill Scott, your homegirls,
right? That
have that soul music, and she can sing soul music. Don't sleep on my girl. She has a good range.
Can't you tell that Tiara is a Beyonce fan, y'all? Can't you tell?
Especially she said she could sing.
Well, you know what? She can sing. But you know what?
Especially she said she could sing.
I look at her as an entertainer.
She is.
Exactly.
She is the full package.
Right.
Yes.
But as far as, never mind, go ahead, finish it.
I think that, in my opinion, not only because if you ask the girl to sing, she can sing, but it's more than being a singer. There's so many people out here that can sing.
Yes.
And sing well. But to be able to captivate an audience, to be able to build a brand. She built a brand outside of her husband.
Yes.
Before her and her husband even got together, even after all the fallout with her group, she still maintained her brand. She went out, had her own solo career. Like, that is the definition of a strong woman, regardless of race. But the fact that she's Black and the fact that she accomplished that, being an African American, that should be celebrated.
But you know what? While we're talking about strong and beautiful African American women, I'd like to introduce our special guest.
Yes.
So let's just take a Beyonce time out and welcome Miss Gizelle Bryant. Hi, Gizelle.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy,
Glad
so
to have
happy
you.
to have you. Miss Gizelle Bryant is the star, or one of the stars, of The Real Housewives of Potomac, which airs on Bravo Sundays at 9 p.m.
Yes. And it's been fun. Have y'all been watching?
Have we been watching?
Yes, we have.
I am such a fan. I've been watching since the very first episode.
Oh, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. So, Gizelle, I'd like to get a little bit of background on you. Where were you born and raised?
I was actually born a baby in Houston, but when I was 2, we moved to D.C. So I'm a D.C. girl. When I got married, I moved to Baltimore, so I do have some roots in Baltimore. I know y'all are there. And then about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I moved back to the D.C. area, back to Potomac. So here I am.
Oh, okay. So how did you end up being a star on The Real Housewives of Potomac? How did that happen?
a good friend of mine had something to do with the casting process. And this is a guy I've been knowing for like 20 years. And he called me and said, would you be interested in doing this? And my immediate reaction is like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I don't want the world in my business.
Yes.
But after I thought about it and, talked to him about it a little bit, he's like, at this point in time in your life, you have nothing to lose and you have everything to gain and you're not doing anything right now. So let's make it happen. And to be quite honest, I'm very proud of my life.
Yes.
And I'm proud of all my accomplishments. And so I decided, what? Why don't I share that with the world? Why not?
Absolutely. And I noticed that you have your daughters on the show with you.
Yes.
So how do they feel about mommy being a reality star?
I just recently became cool in their eyes.
Oh.
So, huge.
I was wondering, Gizelle, were you a fan of the Housewives franchises before you actually became one?
Yes. I really like Atlanta. I find those ladies to be extremely entertaining.
Yes.
And I watch occasionally Beverly Hills. I find them to be, lavish and over the top and, something that you would aspire to be. And they're also entertaining. So, yeah, I'm not like a total diehard because there's some diehards out there.
Yes.
But definitely I would watch Atlanta and Beverly Hills.
You know what? That's so funny because those are my favorite as well.
Yes.
What makes Housewives of Potomac different from the other Housewives franchises?
Right. I would never compare us to any other franchise just because I feel like, we're different cities. Atlanta's Atlanta. New York is New York. We're Potomac. I can say that our dynamic as a cast is a little different. There's 4 of us that knew each other for years prior to filming. And so we have some, real relationships and we have a real chemistry amongst us. So when we get mad, we are really mad.
Oh, it's real.
Yeah. And when we're happy and we're having fun, we're having real good fun. So I think that would be a little bit of a difference between us and everybody else.
Okay, Gizelle, this is Lady T. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Lady T.
So I have a question for you because a lot of times they say with reality shows that the way that you are on TV isn't really a good portrayal of who you are. Do you feel like the show is reflecting who Gizelle really is?
100%. Absolutely. So I only feel that way, and I think people say that when they portray themselves differently. The camera and the show can only put out there what you give. So I started this being myself, and, throughout the whole filming process, I am myself. There was never a situation in which I felt like, I really wouldn't have done that if the cameras weren't rolling. Mm-hmm. Never. And I don't ever want to do that. It's very difficult to keep up a facade. I don't know how to do that. Mm-hmm. So I never wanted to even go down that road. What you see on TV is what you get.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? When you were just talking, it reminded me when you and your stylist visited Sharice's home. That was straight up Baltimore, girl. That was straight up Baltimore. I'm like, Baltimore has rubbed off on Gizelle. The whole crab thing, hey, girl, what you doing?
You know what? He's from Baltimore.
Yes.
And he's still living there, and he is like my best friend. Mm-hmm. So anytime we're together, we cut the fool no matter what. And it's all in good fun. We're not out to hurt anybody. We're just here to have a good time.
Absolutely. Kevin.
Gizelle, thank you so much for coming and being a guest on our show. What I wanted to find out from you, do you still have like affiliates or ties in Baltimore, or you just like straight Potomac now? You like, cut us loose?
Cut us loose.
Now, Baltimore will always have a soft spot in my heart. And, my children's father lives in Baltimore. He does so much work in Baltimore. So I'm highly connected to that. I always know what's going on via him. I get my hair done in Baltimore. Y'all all met Cal on the show. And
yes.
So, and I have my favorite hot spots in Baltimore, like Miss Shirley's.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Shirley's cannot be repeated anywhere under the sun except Baltimore. So I love Miss Shirley's. I have my other favorite restaurants I like to go to. So, I mean, I do have roots and ties, and I always will in Baltimore.
Okay, and without civil unrest we had last year and everything, and the way things unfolded, I mean, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, right? But when you saw that your ex-husband was pretty much like the full and front, like right there, front and center and everything, when you saw this unfold, and this is real life, and it was worldwide, and he was like the center bullseye, focal point.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? How did that make you feel? Did you say, I knew he had it in him, I knew he would do something like that, or were you like, well, there he go again, got to be out in front of the camera?
That's only you, Kevin.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
He and I have known each other for, I don't know, maybe 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
When we first met each other, he and I both worked at the NAACP. So I knew his roots, and his roots are really civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
Before he even thought about being a preacher, he was going to be a lawyer, and his emphasis was going to be on civil rights. And then the preaching just that took over his life, so the lawyer never happened. However, when I saw the unrest in Baltimore and everything going on and the whole Freddie Gray thing, first of all, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, to see North Avenue in flames just kind of like killed me. So I was so super proud of him, that he was there, and he cares. He cares about the state of Baltimore and the education system and the youth and, the destruction of they're lost. And, it seems as if no one cares about the youth in Baltimore, and I know he does.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very proud and happy that he really rose up and took a stance against the police. So moving forward, I see him continue to do the work. So that's what really matters.
That is great. I think we all are super proud of him for that too. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not. Everybody knows I'm not really much of a TV watcher, but I did happen to go on the internet and I found out some stuff that I'm like super proud of you personally, because from what I've seen on the internet.
Look,
and what you've come
don't
through.
be like Ashley.
I was
don't
just
be
about
like
to say
Ashley.
that.
What?
She said, "Don't Google her."
No. No, I'm just saying. I look at a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? I don't take like one video and say, okay, that's the way it is. I stay on for days, you know what I mean, Elaine? Because I know how it is.
Okay.
And from finding out what she's gone through in her life, in real life,
yes,
because you can watch television and stuff like that and think a person is like okay, and they really living their life is really kind of hard on them.
Right.
But we have a lady of success here who's actually overcome some hard times and is now in a position where she's rich and famous, you know what I'm saying? It's great. It's good. So I'm just glad that you took time out to be, part of our show.
Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee.
Absolutely. And maybe we can come to Potomac sometime for a tea or something.
They are not going to let us in the gate, okay?
They said it's a whole different life down there, Kevin. They can't. No, not with you.
And I can't help but think about Karen. I can see her sitting there. Oh no, not in Potomac.
Her and Sharice looking
y'all cut my castmates a break.
That's right.
Anytime y'all want to come hang out in Potomac with us, y'all are more than welcome.
Okay, we're going to hold you to that. But it's
Me too.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Me
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I got a little things to say about Beyonce. I know that was the topic of the
day. Yes.
So before I let y'all go, I do want to give my 2 cents on that. So, I don't feel like everybody's like, taking sides. Either you're a Beyonce fan or you're not, and then taking sides as it relates to her song. And I just don't feel that way. I feel like whether you like her or not, she's an artist. Mm-hmm. She chose to show how proud she is of what she is. Mm. And that does not mean, if you're pro-black, that does not mean you're anti-white.
Right.
They don't go together.
Right.
So I'm happy that she loves who she is and she's representing who she is. And kudos to her. And she's now at a place in her career in which she can do that and say, you know what, to hell with everybody else.
Yes.
I don't care what y'all think. This is what I represent. This is who I am. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, who cares?
Yes.
Okay, Gizelle, I have a question for you then. How did you feel about Kendrick Lamar's performance on the Grammys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to say, and nothing wrong with him, but I'm not a huge Kendrick Lamar fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just because I don't know, whatever. So I just feel like he's very loud, and I never can understand what he's saying. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I wanted to know what he was singing about, but I couldn't understand. The man is loud.
Yeah.
But the visual, them coming out, a chain gang and all that, and then, them kind of like going to Africa and saying, that's where it came from, and y'all emulate what we have been knowing and doing for, 400 years. I can definitely resonate with that, and I love the fact that he's bringing that to the forefront of the music industry and the world. I just want the brother to slow down when he's singing. That's all. I just want to understand the words.
He said, just slow down. You know what? We cannot let you go without allowing Jimmy. Jimmy, he probably has a couple of questions for you, Gizelle.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing in watching, I had to binge watch the show the last 2 days. One thing I wanted to commend you on is that the relationship that you have with your ex-spouse for your children.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I know for myself is very hard to do. And it seems like I have a very positive relationship with them.
Yeah, absolutely. He, before we got married, was one of my best friends. And, now that we're divorced, we're right back there. I mean, Jamal and I have, like I said, we've known each other for, 20-some years. And he really is a good friend of mine outside of the kids.
Yes.
So if there's something going on in his life professionally, he'll run it by me. I'll run stuff by him to get his take on whatever, I'm doing. So, there's a true, genuine friendship there between us. And then, comes our kids. And I feel like I'm happy that we showed that, because I feel like people do struggle with that. If you've been in a relationship and you're divorced, and, how do you co-parent the kids without being mad at that person? And at the end of the day, if y'all aren't together anymore, it's not about y'all.
Yes.
It's about the kids.
Yes.
And I feel like if you're doing anything else outside of that, you're just being selfish.
Absolutely. Jimmy?
So,
did you have any?
My next question is, did you watch your show yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because we have to blog about it for Bravo TV. So they send it to us a couple days prior to it airing.
So have you ever watched the whole show? And of course, you know how sometimes they have the little side interviews in that room where everybody looks great and everything, the soft lighting. So have you ever watched and went, she said what?
Of course. But, I understand this is entertainment and this is TV.
Yes.
But yes, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, we will have a reunion show, so we will be able to discuss when Gizelle said, she said what?
Oh,
I'll be able to discuss that.
So when can we expect this reunion show?
We are actually going to film it towards the end of March, so it'll air right when we wrap up. So this week is episode 5. Mm-hmm. We'll have 5 more to go, and then you'll see the reunion.
What is next for Gizelle?
Oh, geez, Louise. Prior to us filming, I had started to work on a makeup line. Mm-hmm. And so I've been subsequently, and you'll see that as the season progresses, my work on the line. And so mid-summer this year, I'll launch it. It's called Every Hue Beauty, and it's for women of color. And we're going to start with a tinted moisturizer. A lot of Black women don't even know about a tinted moisturizer, but it's just something that you put on your face every day. It gives you those great vitamins. It makes you look beautiful and radiant. It kind of evens you out a little bit. And it's kind of like your everyday hero go-to product before you hit the streets. Mm-hmm. So we'll start with that. And we will match women of color, meaning, a lot of times, and I know this is boring for the guys, but a lot of times, as Black women, we have a hard time finding makeup that matches our skin tone. It's either too ashy or purple or red. It's not the right color for us. Mm-hmm. So I will fix that problem and launch it, like I said, mid-September.
Oh, awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I tell you. Quickly, Tiara.
Okay, we have one last question for you, Gizelle.
Uh-huh.
What are you looking for in a suitor? Because now you are single and you're one of the only women on the show of Housewives that is exclusively single.
Yes. I always say I'm really single. Like Robin, you're pretend single.
Right.
You still live with your ex-husband.
Right.
Yes.
And you will, in this episode coming up Sunday, you'll see me on a date. You'll see me dating.
Yes.
But what I'm looking for is really a guy that is super funny and humble and kind, and he would never do anything to me that he wouldn't do for his mama.
Oh, awesome. Kevin is sitting here taking notes. I think he's checked off all of those things.
Right. He said, and she gave me an invitation. He's going to be at your door.
Yes, knocking. Okay, audience, make sure you tune in to Gizelle Bryant on The Real Housewives of Potomac on Bravo every Sunday at 9 p.m. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. I really
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome.
Keep up the good work. We love you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
You had to throw in that love at the end. You had to throw in the.
That's love. That's love. That's real love. I got love for y'all. I do. I love you.
At the end of the show.
I got love for you.
You don't never say, "Oh, well, thank you, everybody. We love you." You don't never say that.
She just be turning me up.
You get Gizelle on the phone.
She be turning me up.
But you know what? She's gorgeous.
She is.
He beat me to it. I would have said, "I love you too."
I said, "We love you."
But what question I'd like to ask you, Tiara. Which Potomac housewife do you relate to the most?
Do I identify with?
Yes.
I would have
Which one?
I would have to say Gizelle.
Really? Why?
Hands down, I would have to say Gizelle because, Robin, I like her. I like her a lot. But I already know if me and Luther divorced, God forbid, we would not be living in the same house together, sleeping in the same bed. I love my child. I love my child to death. But not to the point that I would be willing, because it's kind of like I feel like I'm still married. Like Gizelle, it's just like she's just who she is. And I was just talking to my best friend about this last night. She's classy. She has money, but she's not. The money doesn't make her. Like some of the other housewives, they have to, be a certain way. They have to carry themselves a certain way because of their stature and because of what they've built. And it's not that Giselle's like, oh, I'm a home girl because, as we saw with the episodes with Ashley, she's not that, down. But she is who she is. She's true to who she is. And you can tell that before the fame, before the show, this is who she really is. That's why I wanted to ask her, does that character really portray who she is? And that's who she is. And that's who I am. It's like,
the one that I can relate to. I had to cut Tiara off. Tiara just talk.
Karen.
But the one I can relate to is, how did you know?
Because I saw the arms flying in the air.
Karen. And I was the first episode when I saw her thinking, oh my gosh, she's an exaggeration. I mean, I am not to that point where it's, etiquette and you must, but I am all about policy, procedures, decency, order. I'm all about that sort of thing. So out of all the characters, I most certainly can relate to Karen more so than the others, okay? But I love what Gizelle was saying about Beyonce and about her being a strong, independent woman, and that is what she's doing. She has a voice and she's using it.
Right.
She's using it. And I appreciate that because she's not worrying about what people say or what people... And you would expect, because to me, it was risky.
It was.
Because, the she could lose, and she probably has lost one or two fans. Maybe one or two, but that's the chance she took. And I'm just very proud of her for using that as a platform to say, and encourage women, be strong, slay, get yours, be proud of who you are. Don't be ashamed and hold back your sensuality and your sexuality.
And just your views. And like Gizelle was saying, she's reached a point in her career where she can do that. She's built and she's achieved and she's done music. She's done movies. She's like, the only thing that Beyonce hasn't done is TV shows. But it's like she has done fashion. She's done everything that she wanted to, and probably it has much more to achieve, but she's reached the point that even if all her endorsers drop out today because of her speaking out about being an African American, one, somebody else will come up, and then two, she's established herself that she can sustain herself, I'm sure, for many, many years, with or without the people who don't support her being who she is. And at the end of the day, I feel like as an entertainment or as a spokesperson for any brand, if the brand cannot celebrate you being proud of who you are, then you don't even want them endorsing you.
You know, it's so funny, but like looking at the lyrics, it's almost like she actually said what she's been wanting to say for a while, and she's included all of those things into this song.
Right.
I mean, because it starts off, y'all haters, you're corny with that Illuminati.
They've been talking about that for years, ever since Aaliyah died, because they tried to say, oh, well, you know, that was, you know, they made that happen, and because of, you know, they wanted to push Beyonce up, and they, like, I read some crazy off the wall blog that was saying that, oh, because, you know, Beyonce's name means like the greatest one, and Aaliyah's is like the exalted one, and you can't have two of the same, and so they got rid of Aaliyah so that Beyonce's career could skyrocket. It's like, give the girl more credit than that. Give the woman much more credit than that. Like, she was already on the rise before the passing of Aaliyah, and it's like, it was truly an accident. Like, I honestly believe that there was no ill intent, that nobody planned for that to happen, or nobody wanted anything like that to happen to Aaliyah.
You know, in this situation, I agree. I agree with Jimmy when he says, "Oh, because I did the same thing. I looked at the video, the halftime video, and I also looked at a musical video, but I wasn't looking for your Illuminati symbols, and I wasn't looking for the Black Panther stuff. I just looked at it as entertainment, and I really didn't see all these things that people were pointing out until you listen to them, and they say, well, look, there's the X. They're making the X on the field with Malcolm X, and like Jimmy, when I saw
Black Panther,
when I saw her, it reminded me of Michael Jackson more than anything.
Right.
I thought
the costume,
and it wasn't until after I saw the live show that all this stuff started coming out, all these hidden symbols, and then they said that the dancers look like Black Panthers. And I didn't recognize it until they said it, and I went back and looked at it again, and I was like, okay, well, they do kind of look like that, you know. But you know, when you look at it, it's got to be the greatest marketing scheme ever in the history of business. You know? Yeah. So
she definitely has a smart team behind her.
And it's a new team. It's a new team because she got rid of,
I heard.
Yep, she got rid of everybody, and it makes sense as to why she did that, because I feel like based on how she had been portrayed prior to this video, it couldn't be the same people doing that.
She's changed direction.
She's changed complete direction. And it's like, you kind of have to have people that support that vision. And not that, I mean, because I'm sure whoever was working for her before would have done whatever she asked. But you have to have somebody that is their focus. They see that. And I don't know much about her team, but I have to believe that, you know, they had a lot of thought that went into the video, the execution of everything, back to back to back to back to back.
But you know what? I noticed, like, with the songs and even with her performance, she has been slowly breaking out of that cocoon for a while now.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
That's why this doesn't surprise me.
No.
Yeah.
And she needed a whole new team for this whole new vision, because she's ready to let loose and let out all these things probably that she's been kind of suppressing a little bit.
Yeah, because Beyonce has never been really in the front line as an artist that will take on the spotlight as being somebody that's for a movement, anything on stage. But as we know from being in Baltimore, we've heard that her and her husband has given money for different people that were involved in the civil unrest and stuff like that. So behind the scenes, they may have been doing some things, may have been doing a lot of things, especially in Ferguson and Baltimore.
Flint. I mean, they've done it. Like, if you read up on it, and it's like, they're not up front, they're not holding a banner saying, oh, I'm in this city with, these people doing these things, but that doesn't mean that they're not active. They don't care.
Right.
I think it's a business opportunity thing. That's what I think. I think they wanted to just blow Beyonce up and her music. Like, if you look at the lyrics, it's got a lot to do with materialistic stuff. We know Beyonce as a materialistic person. You know, we just accept her as that. And a lot of lyrics.
I don't know if I agree with that because she's talking about self-pride. She's talking about the African American nose. You know,
right? But she's also talking about wearing designer stuff and kind of stuff
she's
like.
She's just saying that she slays in that. But she does talk about a lot of different things, like the hair. People talked about her daughter's hair for the
longest time.
Right. They said Beyonce got her hair looking like this and her baby's hair looks like this.
And I think it's awesome that she made a cameo in her video.
Yeah.
So she's speaking up about this and her Southern roots.
Yeah.
She's taking pride in her Southern roots. I mean, how many times have people sort of made fun of her little Southern twang? You know, and then how she says, I have my hot sauce in my bag.
Yeah.
You know, she is just actually standing out and saying, I am who I am. I'm proud of who I am. And then she's embracing who she is. And she's actually speaking out to women and saying, hey, and maybe what you're talking about as far as materialistic things, go out there and get it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's for the taking. You can make things happen. But to me, that encouraged me.
Right. But it's not. But it's not encouraging you to go out and shoot the police, though. They're talking about what she's got is anti-police stuff going on. They got police in different cities that don't want to work the day that she comes to town and do stuff like that.
That's how they interpret it in terms of anti-police. But if you look at the video and you look at even the turn of events,
what me and Jimmy was saying.
The turn of events that took place with the Freddie Gray thing, the police were lined up. I mean, what she showed actually happened in cities across the United States. The police were lined up in their riot gear.
Right.
How is that anti-police?
It's like,
and just like the footage she showed from Hurricane Katrina, it's the truth. Why are people upset about this?
Right.
These things happen.
Now with the Katrina, because I read someone who actually lived through it, and she said that the reason why she didn't agree with it, and she's a Beyonce fan, is because she lived through it.
There, yeah.
And she said that it wasn't fair for Beyonce to portray that particular image. And I guess the voice of the person that spoke in the beginning was somebody that was a big figure in New Orleans and passed in the situation with Katrina. And she said that it just evoked so many emotions that it didn't seem fair for her to tell that story.
Okay, Jimmy.
You know, I still say that you're still talking about a snippet of the video itself. And so it seems like it's amazing to me that so much is weighed on to that one snippet versus the lyrics that she's actually saying in the song. Because if you think about it, they were two totally separate things. And I'm just proud of her, along with the little bit, the little snippet of the video, that she put this thing out in the forefront, because we cannot forget. I mean, you can't forget what happened down in New Orleans to those people. Because most places in the world, that wouldn't have happened. Well, most places in the country, that wouldn't have happened what happened to them. So we cannot forget about what happened with Hurricane Katrina.
So, Jimmy, how did you feel about the plantation? Did you see that part of her video?
When she had the black hat on?
Well, that was, some people look at that as witchery and voodoo and
that stuff like that down in New Orleans.
See, now I go right back. I go right back to what Kevin was saying. You watch the video, you watch the halftime performance, you enjoy it, the show's over. Then you have these people going around trying to point out these things, trying to get you to see stuff that's probably truly not there.
Yes.
The intention of what it was is not there.
You know what a lot of older people say? If you look hard enough, you will find
it. Yeah.
You will find it.
Yeah, exactly.
But personally, I, as an artist, because I'm a recording artist myself, okay? And to see Beyonce, even if it is a marketing thing to make her blow up, and she's taking a stand, my hats off to her, because I think that artists need to do that anyhow. I think that artists, a lot of times when they reach a certain level and they get their money, they get their fame, they forget about us, man. They just totally forget about us, period. And for artists like Kendrick Lamar, artists like Beyonce, who will risk their careers and their lives, because this is a life or death situation that we all are in right now, okay? And for any artist, to put their life on the line like that in their career, my hat's off to you, because I'm not rich and famous, but when I don't know, but I can't write a love song because I ain't had love like that in my life. You know what I'm saying? But I can write some stuff about street life.
Absolutely.
People's lives. You know what I'm saying, Cuzzo?
Yeah. But you know what? The conversation will go on. We'll just keep an eye on it as things evolve. But I am, just like Tiara, I am a Beyonce fan, and I'm very proud of her taking the risk and doing what she's doing. Okay?
Yay,
Yes. If you'd like to send us an email, do so at info@talkwithcassandra.com. Please like our Facebook fan page, Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee. So I thank you so much for tuning in. And until next Sunday at 9 a.m., bye-bye. Shop Talk with Cassandra Renee, the radio show where we talk about it all. Beauty, sports, current events, health, travel, music, and so much more. You can reach us at info@talk